Western Illinois head coach Joe Davis. The team coming off a loss last week to Southeast Missouri this week. Regular season comes to a close at Gardner-Webb. So, Coach, some thoughts about your squad, and then we'll go to some questions.
We played very, very hard on Saturday. Came up 5 points short, and it was a 6-1 score game that we've been in conference this year, and 2-4 in those games. And certainly as a program, just trying to figure out ways to finish these things out. I think 4 or 5 of those games we've had the lead into the second half, certainly at halftime, and felt very, very confident about the way we were playing Saturday, particularly, and we're not able to finish it out. So, disappointed, but again, proud of how hard our guys played, and the improvement of the young players on the team, continues to be a bright spot from week to week. So, just getting ready to go down to North Carolina, play against a talented Gardner-Webb team, and be able to, plan for a strong finish to our 2025 season.
Thank you. Barry is with us. Barry, go ahead with your questions.
Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning, Barry.
I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the one-score games, and I wanted to ask, do you notice a common thread at all in some of those?
I mean, it's the common thread is the inability to make enough plays, at the end of the game to win it. And boy, I mean, you could go back and dissect a number of things, Barry. I think in all these one-score games, most recently Saturday, I mean, we offensively not being able to score in the second half is extremely disappointing. It's well below the standard of offense here that's been set, and had multiple opportunities. Again, this is not a knock on our opponent at all, but had guys open and we dropped passes. We had guys open and we overthrew passes. Had opportunities to pick up blitzes and didn't. A variety of those things that kept kept points off the board, and ultimately that's our goal on offense, is to score more, just score one more point than our opponent. And our defense did a heck of a job kind of keeping us in it. And, for whatever reason, man, could not score on offense. And certainly the 2 missed field goals, ended up being a pretty big deal, in that game, losing by 5. So not one thing in particular, but certainly an issue that, we're trying to solve and will continue to solve.
You've gotten some important contributions from young guys this year, and Don Paul Keith is one of those guys. How has Don Paul been able to stand out for this team?
Yeah, boy, one of the most improved football players on our team. I've mentioned Don Paul previously, that when you're a freshman corner, you got a little bit of a target on your back. People are going to throw at you and try to take shots at you. And boy, he just plays with more and more confidence every week. He's very, very physical. For a guy that was really a big time track star, in high school. And he's embraced the physicality that it takes to play that position. And he certainly has all the physical tools that you want. And so the future and the ceiling for Don Paul is incredibly high. And he's a great young man to boot, always got a smile on his face, works really, really hard in the classroom, practices the right way. And, I won't forget our defensive staff probably a week or so into training camp saying, hey, we think the freshman might be our best corner, and then at that point, as a coaching staff, we're saying, all right, how do we get this guy ready to play? So proud of how far he's come, and excited to see him finish the season strong on Saturday.
I asked him how his impact on this team has impacted his confidence. And he said, well, my confidence has always been there. Is that the track guy in him coming out, or how have you seen that confidence display itself on game days?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of the defensive back guy, in him. You have to have a little bit of swagger, I think, to play that position. He's not an arrogant young man by any stretch, but he is confident. And I think his confidence has grown as he's learned, the techniques associated with playing that position. Coach Fox, our defensive coordinator, Coach Walker, our corners coach, have done an excellent job with him, working with him week to week on the nuances of the position, and he's embraced it. He's very coachable. And you can see, that he continues to improve week to week.
Punt team is something that you guys have had some contributions on as well from younger guys. You've had a block punt this year. You covered a muff punt against Lindenwood and had some big plays. Have you seen some growth on special teams that will kind of help this group move forward, do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned the punt team specifically. Don Paul's a big part of that, covering punts, Zorian Bonner covering punts. I think Luke has improved as a punter throughout the season. Not many folks know that, we lost our starting long snapper in the first game of the season. Ben Bergfeld to a lower body injury against Illinois. And Daniel Chevalier has stepped in as a true freshman snapper and been very, very steady all season as the short and long snapper. So, some of the operational components of that unit, have been impressive to me. I still have, and I've said this all season, Barry. I mean, I still believe Antonio Chata to be one of the best kickers, certainly in our league and potentially nationally. But man, in a season of close losses, we've had some field goal issues. We have the game winner blocked against UT Martin. We miss a field goal that would have made a huge difference against Charleston Southern in a one-score game. Certainly Saturday we miss, 2 field goals, and that's not all on the kicker. It's a unit, but overall there's been some positives, but as with all 3 units on our team, just not enough consistently or collectively to win enough games here this year.
Last thing I had for you, Coach, is that you've had your fair share of injury this year, and I wanted to ask you, will you get anybody back for week 12, and how are you health-wise going into this one?
Yeah, I don't know that anyone necessarily is imminently coming back. We do have some guys that have kind of been in and out of the lineup that may try to stick their toe in the water, so to speak, Saturday, and just kind of see how they're feeling and see how their body holds up. We're going to be starting another set of new receivers Saturday, another kind of configuration of offensive linemen. But again, I mean, the guys that have stepped in, throughout the past couple months have done enough to be competitive in all these games, and we just got to find the right combination and kind of the right belief system here to push these one-score games over the top, and our season certainly could look a lot different.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you,
Coach. Just a little bit more just on Gardner Webb and what you've seen impress them. They have a running back who's got 13 touchdowns. They had 12 sacks in a game 2 weeks ago. Just what's popped out when you're preparing for them?
Yeah, well, I think just improvement. This is a team last year that came here in the season finale. We were able to play very, very well on offense, and especially in the second half, and put them away. But I think our coaches collectively have noticed just an improved level of execution by their team. I think more specifically, probably their offense. Guys are in the right spot. They're running routes at the right depth. The offensive line, works in unison pretty consistently. The quarterbacks that they've had in there have made pretty good decisions and not put their team, in bad situations. And that's certainly a credit to Chris and his staff. Just in terms of how they teach and coach and mentor, and it certainly has benefited them this year from week to week, in some tighter games that they've been in, or games that they've had the lead and been able to hold that lead just by playing consistent, well-coached football, and put them in a position to have a special finish to their season, certainly. So yeah, very, very impressed with Gardner Webb.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time, not only this morning, but all season long, and just best of luck to you in the Leathernecks this week.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kyle. Have a great day, man.